Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Shield, and I want to welcome you and Wei and Leanne. I am so excited. If you can hear, I'm just the excitement in my voice. Leanne is a former client, and she not only went through my initial course, but she also went through a year-long program with my husband and me. And during that process, Leanne met one of the most wonderful men I think we've ever had pair up with one of our clients. I have to say, even my podcast manager said to me, "Oh my God, Wei is wonderful." He is such a great guy. So this is an absolute pleasure to welcome you both. And I'm actually going to switch things up a little bit here. I usually start with my client and let her set the tone. But Wei, I'm so excited to talk to you and introduce you to everybody that I'm going to start with you. So, hi.
Hey.
Hi. So let's talk about where you were before you met Leanne. Tell me where you were in your love life.
Yeah, so before I met Leanne, so I had ended my second marriage, and it was a difficult process. It took quite a bit of time, and also there's lots of difficulties throughout the process.
Mm-hmm.
It took, I think, a few months for me to think things through. I also had my own therapist, even though it is mostly on the parenting side. We did discuss, personal life, and she encouraged me to sort of start looking forward to sort of the next chapter. That's where I think I did my reflection, and I came out of it, and I was ready to move forward to the next chapter. That's where I started, Match and a few others. That's where I met Leanne, and that's where our story started.
Wei, I want to go back to something that you shared. You had mentioned that you went to therapy. I know you were doing it mostly for parenting, but so many women don't believe that men go to therapy. And what I find is that not as many men go, but many of my clients actually wind up with men who have gone to therapy. And it's two conscious people coming together. It's a level of consciousness that you may not be able to even have in a relationship without that. So I'm curious, I mean, as a man, would you share just, for the women and the other men, what did that do for you being in therapy as a man? And how did that open you up to being in a relationship with a woman like Leanne?
Honestly speaking, I didn't believe in therapy before. So I find it very challenging in parenting. That's where it started. But more importantly, I think it's kind of the change in mindset. I had two failed marriages before. I think throughout the journey, it changed my attitude and the way of looking at things quite a bit. Or I guess in short, humbled me quite a bit through the process. So I realized, my limitations, and parenting is just one of the examples. During the therapies, I think the most benefit I saw is, I could have a honest and candid discussion with the therapist.
Wow.
I could discuss a lot of weaknesses and also my own feelings, in my life, and there is no judgment in the sessions.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. So
And for Wei, for you to have that space to just open up and get emotionally naked
yeah,
was
and
really important.
exactly. And especially, I think in Chinese sort of a tradition, the man is sort of the stronger figure.
Mhm.
And it is, in most of the cases, it's very hard to kind of show your weakness and things, you know, you struggle to handle. And having a space and the opportunity to, you know, face someone who is a professional and discuss this, I think it is very,
Oh,
very beneficial.
that's so beautiful. I mean, I love hearing that from a man
Mhm.
because we all want that, right? Both men and women. We
Yeah,
really
Mhm.
go ahead.
The other thing I want to mention is that it's actually very, very difficult and challenging for me to realize, uh,
Mhm.
you know, the limitations in me, the things I'm not
Right.
good at, and to come forward and seek for help. It is actually a very long journey. I wouldn't say it is easy.
Yeah, and it's humbling, right?
Yeah,
It's
it is.
just humbling to realize that we're all human and we all have
Mhm.
weaknesses. It can be so, especially as a man, to accept that.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
on the other hand, I think once I accept the fact that, you know, there are things, there are limitations in me, it becomes very easy and natural to accept that it is a process to improve yourself. And
Mhm.
once you see the little progress making in the right direction, it is actually encouraging and reinforcing,
Yeah.
you know, in one's kind of belief.
And it really is in many ways the most courageous thing of all to
Yes,
face ourselves,
yeah,
right? And our own limitations.
yeah. And in my case, it was the failures I have
Mhm.
experienced, especially the failure of the second marriage. It was
Yeah.
quite severe.
And you
Um,
had a son involved, right? You had
yeah,
a young son.
yeah. And of course, the failure of the marriage had I think, a quite negative impact on him.
Mhm.
I mean, we have to go through the divorce process.
And wait, it sounds to me, if I'm hearing you correctly, that you really tried in that marriage. I mean, you really wanted it to work. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And it was a failure for you that it didn't.
Yes, it was a long marriage, and I guess I went through, probably most people went through as well. There's different stages. I had serious doubt about whether I'm suitable for married life. That's where, you know, I think it took a few months to go through that thinking process. I'm glad that I was able to come out of it with a, you know, positive kind of perspective. But I think it is important and necessary to go through that process and do self reflection, basically to get to know self.
Well, and if you don't, you'll stay stuck there. You won't
Yeah.
move forward, right? And what you did
Well,
was you
yeah.
faced it.
I think getting stuck is actually a part of it.
Mhm.
You have to get to a stage where you truly feel the pain, and
Mhm.
it's probably different for everybody, but in my case, I think it is extreme disappointment in myself,
Right.
and some sort of desperation at some point. On the other hand, I think it is very important to have the belief that even though I'm stuck now, I will come out of it at some
Mm.
point. It is a process, and I just have to go through it.
Well, you were willing to look at yourself. A lot of people aren't. You were
Yeah.
willing to take responsibility and say, I failed
Mm.
and I don't want to keep failing at this. But a lot of people will just cast blame or, so they don't have to look inside themselves.
Yeah,
But it made it possible for this to happen,
exactly,
for
exactly.
this. And this is extraordinary. I mean, what you did
Mhm.
to be able to create this kind of relationship is amazing.
One more point I'd like to add is that
Yeah.
I feel lucky that I think I had the right mindset where
Mhm.
I have to address myself before I move on to look forward to the next stage. In other words, I think make yourself ready before you start something new.
Well, one of the
Mm.
ways, something that just occurred to me is that until we stop and take responsibility for our own emotions and our own self, we can't fully be in a relationship because we
Totally.
put it on, we're still trying to work those things out.
Yeah,
And
totally. I think the baggage, it is extremely important to work them out and
yes,
make sure you carry over as little as possible.
yes.
Even though I'm saying so, I'm pretty sure I still have some baggage on my back. It just have to still have to go through and work through those.
Mhm. But the wonderful thing is you'll work through it,
Exactly.
you know how to, and you will.
Yeah.
Leanne, I cut you off.
No, I so appreciative. He said that he has very high self-awareness where he is. Although I want to say he's one of the most successful men in the world. He's very he is.
And I don't think.
Yeah, very
I
successful,
love that.
very intelligent. Yeah, highly educated. So, and he still know, I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. My tears just,
Go for it. You just do you, Leanne. Yeah.
yeah, I'm very appreciative. And a lot of time, he gave us the space for me to voice myself any way I can.
And you didn't have that before. You never were able to voice yourself ever, right?
No,
Oh, honey. Oh. And he loved you and he saw how beautiful you are inside and out. And he created a space for you to do that.
and
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Lisa.
Oh, honey.
This your course really helped me to open up to myself first. Because in the past, I was even afraid of to be vulnerable to myself. And whenever my last marriage, although it lasted 13 years, I cannot say there's no single day I was happy, but whenever there was little as very small problem, I always went to someone else. I was never had the courage to just go to him, my ex-husband, and talk about it. I never did.
And you can go to way with anything.
Yes, tissue. I want to give. And I truly realized how important that is. So another analogy I think I shared during my course too, was that the reason I was close to my besties, my girlfriends, was because I have a few very good friends of mine. The reason we were very, very close is because we can talk about anything. It's the same with a guy. You can talk about anything with him. There's no way you are not getting closer. There's no way. You're just gonna get closer and closer. And I did not realize how simple it is like that until your course, until like a year after almost a year after your course, I realized that I was not,
Right.
I had to admit I was not very coachable at the beginning. And I ignored many like yellow flags and red flags. With that Russian guy I was with for about 5 months. And when I looked back, we were never in a relationship at all.
Right.
Yeah, never. It was
Yeah.
not exclusive, but I still kept it on.
Yeah. And that was the guy you went through either at the end of you met him at the end of the course.
Yes, at the end of the END.
Yeah. And then you had 5 months with him.
Mhm.
And then what happened?
I sent a very long email to you. All you email me back is he's avoidant. If you wanna keep being hurt, stay with that. Stay with him.
Right.
Yeah. And that really shocked me, and I cannot believe it just had to be that way. but I really sit with myself, really thought through it. And I reread Attached and also Men Who Can Love, those two books one more time again. So,
Wow.
and that guy really fit into the textbook to be avoidant.
That's brilliant. Leanne, that's brilliant. So you went back and read those.
Twice.
That was really smart.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you got it. Like you got what I was saying to you.
Uh-huh.
I just wrote you and said, if you want to get hurt.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah. That woke me up, actually.
Oh, good. Well,
So
I think part of it, Leanne, is that you trust me and you know that I wouldn't say, I wasn't like trying to be mean or whatever. You asked my advice, right?
exactly. You want me with the man I should be with.
Yeah.
You don't want to waste my time. And that is
Right.
the smartest thing to do.
But the
never-
beauty is you followed the advice.
Exactly.
That's
And-
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you and Benjamin, we talked about it, Leanne, we talked about it. You are the masters of relationship, but it's doable with the effort from the party of me and him, we can do it.
Yes, it's doable. So we did a couple of sessions, the 3 or 4 of us, where you were both afraid of the other shoe dropping, right? Like I think very few people really on the planet understand how a truly loving relationship works, right? We call it a guardian of your soul relationship. And you were both concerned about the other shoe dropping. And I'm asking honestly myself, is that feeling going away, or are you still anticipating it, or has the other shoe dropped? I don't know.
So far, it's going really well. Even this morning, we woke up and we said, "What do you want to have for your breakfast?" Because he doesn't normally eat breakfast. He asked me, "What do you want to have breakfast?" So I was getting dressed and getting ready for our meeting, and he got my breakfast ready. So little things like that I think it just sweetens, although it's little, but it plays a big role.
That's not little. That's what every woman dreams of.
Yeah.
A man who will care enough about her to do those kinds of things, thoughtful things. That's enormous. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that he does that for you.
Every day.
Oh, honey.
Many numerous examples. I don't know if we have time to go through all of them.
Wei, you are one of the most, honestly, Benjamin is thoughtful. I didn't know if there was a man on earth more thoughtful than my husband.
Thank
The
you.
ways you take care of Leanne, getting her a doctor, but like thinking that she needed a doctor, a general physician, and making sure she had that. You're such a man.
Thank you.
You really are. You are such an incredible example of what it means to be a man and to love the woman that you're with and to feel responsible for her well-being, her joy, or her safety. Do you really feel that, right? He does so much for you.
Feel much more like protected.
Oh.
How sweet that is. He's a big guy. He's 6'1", he's very tall, but that doesn't mean he ignores small things. He cares about little things because he knows I love those. I love to be loved by the little things.
Oh, he really pays attention, and then he does those things for you that make you feel good. It's so beautiful. I love hearing your stories about Wei's thoughtfulness. They're always beautiful. They're always beautiful, because those are the expressions of love, right? Being willing to love your partner in the way that he or she feels it, wants to be loved, and that they can ask for it, and you'll do it. It's
Yeah.
so sweet. And you go above and beyond way. It's so wonderful, Leanne, to have a man who's so romantic. He's very romantic.
Absolutely.
I'm still learning.
So I see this is how humble he is.
Uh-huh. I
I
know.
truly
I
mean
know.
it. Yeah, I truly mean it.
I know he does. Leanne, you got the best guy. I don't know if you remember this, but when you came on the mastermind call, afterward, Benjamin said, if I were single, I'd marry.
Thank you. Thank you.
And he meant it. We think you both are just literally one of our all-time favorite couples that has ever gone through the course. And we both just adore you. We really
Thank you so
do.
much.
Yeah,
We want to talk to you, I think, later again, probably book a session with you.
sure.
Because we're going very sweet. No arguments, no fight. So far, we've been together for over a year. We want to keep this going. We want to get it more beautiful and stronger. Nothing can break it.
Do you want to know one great way to keep it going?
Yeah.
You two should teach people how to do this. I mean it. You should teach other people how to do it, because for the two of you, it's not about doing things. This relationship is going to get deeper and richer by itself. You're already there. You really are. If you have questions for me, I'll be happy to guide you, or any doubts or anything. But the way you're going to deepen it is by collaborating and working together as a team.
And
Yeah.
there's something else I want to share. What I learned from you is that being able to have a difficult conversation with your guy in a loving and kind way, that definitely was a milestone to me. I've never done that to my ex-husband. And that just added all the underlying issue, those resentments or unhappiness or conflicts. It looked peaceful on the surface, but was a storm under beneath it. And then until one day it exploded. Yeah. So it was not easy for me. Every time he said, why you just didn't tell me? I said, I'm learning. Yeah, and then I'm glad he gave me that space and time for me to improve. That's part of the self-improvement,
Wonderful.
self-development too.
And Leanne, are you able to now go, now is it pretty just open and you feel like you can say whatever you need to say?
Yes,
That's wonderful.
yes. He's my guy. He's gonna listen. He's want to listen. He want to resolve those things, right? Because we all know if we can talk through those difficult things, and just gonna make our relationship stronger.
As you describe, both of you, the relationship, and especially you, Leanne, I feel so touched to hear about how the relationship is between you. And it sounds like such a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, it is.
It is. What's it like, Wei, to be to have found this for you?
I would say, it is very,
Hard to believe, right?
yeah, I guess it's more than that. It feels like, you find the purpose of your life, right? Otherwise, it's always something that's missing.
We get to experience the most beautiful thing we can experience in this lifetime, which is love.
Yeah.
That is, of all of the experiences that any human being can have, this is it, to find a person where you can be your whole self.
Yeah.
And they just love you.
Yeah, I feel extremely fortunate to have found her.
Yeah.
Like you and Benjamin shared, initially we just listened to your story and your coaching sessions through your courses. But really, I think it's this masculinity that brings out my femininity.
Yeah.
The polarity really shows. And also I want to share, we learned a ton from you. One thing is because he loved to play badminton. So maybe in the past, I would not feel very happy if he just goes to play with his buddies, leaving me at home. Like, but with your course, I was like, okay, that's another opportunity for me to give him space. And we have plenty of time being together, you know, we have a lot of quality time together every day. And he needs his own time too, you know. And so, like you said, having a relationship with a guy, we want to make him feel his world is getting bigger, not smaller. That's so important too, you know.
God, look at you.
Yeah, and I remember I made a lot of notes of this, and I consciously put that in practice. So it's in practice now.
Oh my God. And look at what you did. That's amazing. Leanne, you sound so happy.
Yes, I am.
You really and content and like you can be yourself.
Mm-hmm. And also I want to share with all the sisters and whoever is still in search for their love. Before I joined your course, I was already divorced for 4.5 years. I thought about getting back to the dating world, but I really didn't know where to start from. I did not know what to look for in a man. What are the key things I need in a relationship? What are the key things I need to prepare myself? I don't know. My brain just went blank. I don't know what to do. And online dating seems so daunting because there are so many uncertainties. You don't know this guy at all. You're gonna date him and potentially you're gonna spend the rest of life with him. That's scary, very scary. And your email popped up in my Gmail box. I read many of them and I followed you for quite a few months. And finally, I've never had a dating coach or therapist and nothing. So it's okay. So I did some research and I just told myself I felt good about it. So that's why I just jump on the call with you and sign up the course. Yeah. So it took me a while to really, I hear what you're talking about, what you coach us about, but I did not really like fully, fully understand taking to this what you coach us into practice, put them into practice until 3 months later. I think that's just a learning process for me. And I believe the course and I trust you and Benjamin. Everyone can do this. Yeah, it's magical. And I did not realize this is a thing. We invested so much time and money into our energy, into our career education, but I didn't invest a thing into my relationship, which is probably more important than anything else in the world to me. Yeah. So
Leanne, when you think about the money you invested and what came out of that, was it worth it?
Absolutely worth it. Absolutely. And I think I shared with you too. I wish I had that self-awareness to go through this process when I was younger, but I did not realize we need to be coached and learn how to be in a relationship, how you show up to yourself even.
Yes. And you want to find the best person you can find, the person whose message you click with, right? And just trust that person. I think a lot of it, my relationship with Benjamin, right? You know. And Leanne, what I'm hearing is you really took what I gave you to heart and you trusted us and you wanted something like what Benjamin and I have. You really put yourself in our hands and let us guide you. And look at what you found.
I'm glad I listened to you and Benjamin. Yeah.
I'm glad too.
Initially, but I want to say not until about May of last year, I was not really coachable. coachable to the extent that will make me find him. Because I wanted to, honestly, at that time, before that point, I wanted to take a chance. I was like, okay, maybe there's another way we can find the guy. No, there is no other way. It has to be this way, the Lisa Benjamin's way.
Oh,
Yeah, emotional naked is the key. I want to say that's the foundation to bring the two souls really together.
mhm.
There are many other things, but that's the most important element cannot be missing from an intimate romantic relationship.
Can you talk about that a little bit, Leanne? I think people would really want to hear, from your perspective.
I can talk about anything, what's going on in my mind, what's going on between me and him freely in a loving and kind way, but not in an accusatory way, which is I'm still learning. I ask him to give me feedback.
You're doing very well.
This I want to ask him, like, how you want me to say this. This is how I say this to you, and I'm not judging you, I'm not blaming you. We want to work on it together. So talking about those things you cannot share with anyone else will make you feel you are putting him your first priority. He's the most important person in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just gonna pull you two together closer and closer. Initially, I thought every relationship just has its own problem. We have just to live with it, but it's not like that at all. But on the other side, we're two different human beings. Men and women, we have different brains. We think about things differently. He's very straightforward. I might think about this and that, and so process in a different way, which is fine. And I want to say also that's probably a hallmark sign. If you don't feel comfortable talking about everything with him, he may not be your guy.
Right.
And you don't want to settle for less. Like you and Benjamin said, you will never want to settle for less.
No.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Because the perfect person for you is the one where you can fully be yourself
Exactly.
and you're going to meet each other with love.
Mhm.
And be there and not attack each other and just meet each other there. It's so beautiful.
Oh, another one thing I want to share with everyone is that I want to see, because we are from different culture background, maybe our belief and value system, the culture is different from what Caucasians or other people have. But what you taught us is universally true. If we follow you closely, if we are coachable, if we listen, yes, it doesn't matter if it's a different culture or not.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very important. I want to share with everyone.
And thank you for that. That means so much to me.
Mhm.
It really does. I mean, it's an honor. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Love is love, and the beauty is in the differences and in the places where we can meet each other. It's that simple. Thank you both. First of all, I know we could keep going and keep going. Leanne, what is so touching for me is just how much you learned from us and to see you putting it into practice in your own relationship is extraordinary. It really is. And it's a gift for me to know this and to see this, because the fact that we can replicate what Benjamin and I do and have other couples like you and Rebecca and Sam and, so many others, Lori and Jim, right? It is so extraordinary to know that this is something that can be taught and something that can be learned, right? And one thing I think you both would agree, I'm really practical and grounded. Oh, I think that's another thing that helps the work we do translate. It's just very practical.
Yeah, so Lianji has explained a lot of you and Benjamin are teaching and practicing.
Mhm.
I felt like it opened a kind of a brand new world to me. I've never thought it could be approached that way, and it is truly enlightening. By the way,
Wow.
thank you for your teaching and practicing. I wished more people would get a chance to
Ah.
to take the course and be more methodical in approaching love life.
Thank you.
We've
Thank you,
been holding
Wei.
our hands all the time we're doing this
Ah.
interview.
Can I tell you something? I was writing about that story this morning, and I want to share for everybody. Thank you for reminding me. One of the most beautiful things that we will never forget about Leanne when she was going through the program was the story of the beginning of when you and Wei met. And I want you to share the line, the story about holding hands with everybody, if you would, because you tell it way better than I could.
You want I remember because when I first met him, we got on the phone just once after 1 or 2 days when we connected on Match. But during the whole week before we met the first time, and he's been texting me all day long. Initially, I did not have any feeling for him, honestly, at that time. Nothing, and very peaceful, no fireworks, absolutely not anything going on in my mind. And then I ask you why I don't have any feeling for him. You and Benjamin said it's because he made him available all the time. So we went out 3 times. Every time, so I was still living in San Francisco. He drove from an hour away to see me every week. So we saw each other every week. And we didn't talk much during the first 3 weeks. But like I said, he was messaging me all day long. And then during one of our coaching sessions, we share like what progress we made, anything like that. And we didn't make much of any progress, honestly, just like that. We didn't hold hands for the first 3 weeks. Nothing. Then after our 3rd date, we started to talk more. Like almost every night we had our Zoom date. So I asked him, would you like to hold hands? He said yes. I said, would you like to hold my hands? He said yes. So on our 4th date, that morning he came to pick me up. So I felt something might be coming because he gently kissed my forehead a little bit when we just saw each other. Then he started to hold my hands. We went to the tea garden in San Francisco. After walking for a few minutes, he just said, "Can I kiss you?"
Yes, Wei. You gave him the go ahead. Oh, I hate to have to end this, but I cannot thank you both enough for being here, for the gift that you are to me. I really meant it when I said, I think you two should be teaching this. I think that there aren't a lot of couples out there walking the planet like the two of you. And I hope I know you will. I think that there's something really beautiful in store for you. Thank you for the gift that you are in my life and for everything that you both shared today, your openness, your honesty. You're two of the most honest and real people I have ever met or had the pleasure of meeting. I know you both don't take compliments well, and I am very complimentary. And it may even be uncomfortable a little bit, but I mean every single word of what I'm saying. So it has been a gift to have you here. Wei and Leanne were my guests today. Please go to lisashield.com, look at my website, click on the button to watch my free presentation. Leanne, I think that's how you found me, with that probably that same presentation, right? And so it started there. You could have this. Please don't hesitate. Time is precious. And, when you see a couple like this and you realize what's possible, why would you wait? Get out there, do this work, and find love, because this is the greatest experience in life. You can also like and rate my podcast. Please give us your honest feedback. We really want to hear what you think. And I know there's more, but that's all I got for you today. Please come back and see us again. Thank you. Bye-bye.